Hello, everybody, and welcome back to JVMT podcast. We're excited to be here again. I want to introduce our CEO and founder, Sylvester Raymond. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, amazing. Today we have an interesting topic, but before that, tell us a little bit more of how you got to JVMT. How did you grew JVMT as a business? What are some things that you had to do?
Yeah, so it's interesting you would say that because that's part of what we're going to talk about today is building a plan. That's one of the first things I had to do. You've heard people say, that people don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. And
Mm,
so, a business plan, which is what we're talking about, was one of the first things I did. And part of that was identifying what is in the market. So, as we talked about last week, our niche is that we believe that most of the people in our industry that do what we do, which is develop software, have really honestly underserved the
yeah.
public, right? Because all they do is create an app and sort of kick you out the door. You got an app, if you need us to support it, we can support it. But other than that, what do I do with this?
Right.
And so that's why we believe, business plans, one of the first places to start when you start building your business.
Did somebody guided you when you started your business? Like, hey, the first thing that I recommend you is to build a business plan, or was it just kind of you Googling it and figuring it out on your own? I'm just curious to see how
Well,
you got there.
I knew about it, just from like, college and even high school. Like I knew about it. But I honestly, in some of my businesses that I started, 20 plus years ago, I failed and I didn't I didn't take it seriously that it was necessary because it can be a long process. And I just wanted to get it started. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs that we talk to. I just want to get it started. I just want to get started and move forward and do my thing. And unfortunately, that is a plan for failure to do that. You really need to take the time to sit down, plan out how you're going to do it.
I
And
think
so and
people
so
get
and so
excited.
my short answer is I knew about it. People told me about it, and I still didn't listen. Okay.
Hmm. No, I just say I think people get excited or they think like, oh, I know the best. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not a bad thing. It's just necessarily like you were saying, life taught you a different path and taught you, okay, there's structure to this in order to be successful, in order to, be in the right direction. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think tell us a little bit, because I think one of the things that people don't really talk about is their failures, right? So, what give us some
Mhm.
examples of previous, businesses that you had that you did not create a business plan, or maybe it was not an accurate business plan, because a lot of times we can figure out
Oh,
this is a business plan, but
yeah. So you said you want to hear some failures. So in one business, I opened cell phone stores in St. Louis. I grew up in St. Louis, so I opened cell phone stores. And when I did it, all I knew is, oh, cell phones are great. They're booming, blah, 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 blah. Let me sell cell phone stores or cell phones in cell phone stores. And I had opened one, and then a second one, I was opening a third one. And then 9/11 happened.
mm,
Um, and so sort of to kind of like, I don't have disposable income because at that time, cell phones were looked at as a luxury because people still had phones in their homes. And so it was sort of, and then you were paying by the minute, and it was crazy back then. But I didn't research the market. I didn't understand even the relationship between myself and some of the vendors that I was selling for. I didn't realize that I was selling against my vendor and they were giving themselves better terms than they were giving us. I didn't understand how hard a road it was to actually make money selling cell phones. So, I'll give you an example. One of the things I didn't know is that you would see a company like AT&T, or at the time they were called VoiceStream, advertise a free phone. and you could go into a voice stream store. You could go into a AT&T store, and you could get a phone. They would come to my store, and it was the latest phone, right? So it was the most expensive phone. So what would happen is they would say, "I want that phone, and I want it for free."
Mm.
And so not only could I not sell it for free because I would lose money, but also I would have to buy five at a time in order to order the phone for one person, one customer.
Oh no.
So yeah, so I didn't know that, right? So these were things that I needed to know about before I got into that industry, and I didn't do my research. I did research to find out. So this was one big failure, 9/11 hit, and that really killed us, and we were just out of business at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the position, obviously you didn't do the market research, you didn't do the planning before even getting into the business, which is very
Yeah.
important. I think a lot of times people get into the business and then they want to even start doing all that work. What are some key factors that go into a business plan that people really need to consider before and after going into business?
Yeah, the first thing I think, I was reading a Gartner report, and we stick by Gartner. Gartner does a lot of great work in doing research and giving company people information on business. They're just one of the best places to find information for business people because they look at historical data and then they make potential projections based on that. And so I think one of the things that they mentioned, step one, is be strategic minded. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we get so excited about what we're doing. We think it's the next best thing since sliced bread, and we're on the creative side, and so that part of your brain is different than the side of your brain that plans strategies. So I think the first thing is to plan your strategy when you're thinking about your business plan. What is the your strategy for, maybe you're developing a product or a piece of software or whatever it is. What is your strategy for that, for developing that? Include costs. See, this is the stuff that people don't want to hear when they're creative. They don't want to hear the stuff I'm talking about, but this is the stuff you have to have. So you have to start thinking strategically about how you're going to develop it, and then you need to be able to outline. Step two is align with your expectations. Now, your expectations are not just pie in the sky ideas about what you think will go well. Your expectations should also include what you think could be potential drawbacks, and then how you plan to handle that when that occurs. And then another step three, is to verify the business context. So this takes a little time because I think that sometimes um, getting knowledge from people who have gone where you're going, and maybe in your industry, for example, maybe you own a nonprofit, maybe you building an app, and your app is in the wellness area. And so you may want to talk to people who have already done that. And that, and what's interesting is they'll tell you, and this is important, they'll tell you what mistakes they made so you don't go in that same pothole. Can you see how valuable that would be to do something
Absolutely.
like that? And then step four is assess your capabilities, like really, and be honest with yourself, right? This is different from the functional self-assessment, and then your business partner's perception of your strengths and weaknesses. Inside business plan, we do something called a SWOT analysis. And this is not just an analysis of the business strengths, weaknesses, so on and so forth. But this is also, and just so people understand, SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. When we do that kind of research, we're looking at not just the business, but we also, and especially the business owner, needs to look at themselves and their business partners and say, what do we do well, and what do we need help with? Where may we need contractors down the road? Where may we need to hire people with expertise in a particular area? so that we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We actually have people who know how to do that already. That those are some of the things. And then step four, according to Gardner, is um, set up. I mean, I'm sorry. Step five is set objectives. Objectives really look at measurable steps that describe how a specific goal would be accomplished. Again, I'm going through all now. This is before, and you know this, Crystal. We do all of this with you before what, Crystal? Before we write what?
Code.
We write
the software.
I think we're the only company that I know of in the world that takes the time to help you do this part. We do all the heavy lifting with this part. And this is just the business plan part. We've got other things that we do, but we're going to talk about business plans today, so I'm not going to go too far. But objective should be specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and tied to a near-term deadline to ensure timely completion. So these are what some people would think of short-term goals, right? You develop an action plan around that stipulates how the objective will be met, right? Then you track your progress. I think that's the thing with no way to track the progress, developing metrics that are simple enough for anybody to look at. Without doing that, I think that it's going to be very difficult for you to move into a successful way of building your business plan. And then you want to look at how you're going to fund innovation and growth. How are you going to make it happen? And I want to stop here. I want to give people and I hope people either look at this in the replay or look at it now, because we can provide you with some serious information about where you can get some funding in different places. And I'm talking about, listen. We're always looking for what can we provide to our clients to help them win, right, Crystal? That's our job. Mm-hmm. And one of the things this is a very interesting point. Do you know that if you have an idea that the government sees as an opportunity for you to help cities, help with growth, it could be in medicine, it can be in mobility, it can be in all these different. Did you know that there's a seed fund for that? There's a seed fund that actually will grant anywhere between $256,000 up to $2 million for something you're just researching to see if it might work. We have access to that. We can give you that information. And the seed fund, because it's the government and it's taxpayer money, guess what? They don't want any equity in your product. They don't want any equity. They're not an investor. They're not like a seed funder, a private seed funder. This is something coming from the U.S. government, and it's available all year round. All year round. We're between $256,000 to $2 million to fund just the R&D part of what you're doing there. But and then one more thing, Crystal, before I go, I want to talk to people about it. We sent this out to all of our clients yesterday. You saw it. I know the email. My God, there are organizations that are helping women, anybody underserved, LGBTQ plus, anybody who is military veterans with grants. Now, keep in mind, let's talk about grants, because this is part of the business plan. You can actually insert how you're going to move and supplant that with a grant. So there are grants that I'm not making this up. If you're a woman and you're starting a business, if it's a startup, this grant will give you up to $50,000 to get your business going. It's a grant. This is money you don't have to pay back.
Right. I was going to say, let's go ahead and clear that out, that it's money that you definitely do not have to pay back. So that's amazing. Starting out with the K.
Absolutely. And so when you insert it in your business plan, then people know you're thinking. They're like, oh, this person has actually done some research. They applied for a grant. There is another grant for anybody, regardless of whether you're a woman or as long they consider you underserved. I think your business can't be $5 million. You can be a startup. $20,000 in grant money. $20,000 in grant money.
There's so much money out there, Sylvester. We gotta know where it's at, right? And what to
Yeah,
do with it. And the importance of a business plan, like you were mentioning, they want to see the plan. They want to see what are you going to be doing with this particular business and how you're going to execute it along the way.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so excited for some of our clients. They got it. I've already gotten emails back and texts. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. This, that, and the other. But that's something we're always doing. And there's no additional charge. People don't go, oh, well, when you get the money, give me a cut and all this stuff. Don't do that.
No.
We really try to help our clients move forward in that process so that they can have their hopes and dreams occur. But again, relating to what you said about business plans, getting back to that point, this is why this is so important to talk about. We've got a couple more steps. I'm going to finish 3 more steps. Can I finish 3 more steps, Crystal, real quick?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
All right. So, so again, funding, innovation, growth, really, how are you going to fund this? How are you going to build it? Where's the revenue going to come from? All that kind of good stuff. You've got to really be able to put that information in and put your strategy on a page. Here's the thing that this thing that makes it difficult for a lot of people. Like me, I'm a creative, so I'm thinking my strategy in my head. I very rarely write stuff down, or at least I used to. Now I force myself to write it down, right? What's my next plan? What am I going to do next? That's a basic goal, right? Put your strategy on paper, right? And then step 8 is drive that plan home, execute it. The one thing I've seen some entrepreneurs do is even when they have a business plan, they don't execute, right? And 9 times out of 10, something's not going to work that you assume was going to work. But the only way you're going to find out is that if you drive the plan home, right? If you set a strategy, start developing the plan, and start moving with the plan, you need sort of, as you're building your clientele, you want to build a clear and consistent message that drives buy-in and commitment from your functional leadership, but also from your client base, right? They need to get on board with what you're doing. Like with our MAP program, like you get on board with why we're doing this way, and we're not just building an app and kicking them out the door. Step 9 is the last step. This is a big one, Crystal. This is a big one. If you're one of those people who is resistant to change, you want to hear this. You ready, Chris? You ready for this?
I'm ready. What is it?
This is the bomb. Prepare to respond to change. Right?
Yeah.
So one of the things is you have to, and these are as a business leader, you have to be strong enough to do these things. Monitor triggers to track the effectiveness of the strategic plan. Cancel underperforming projects quickly. Track and validate assumptions periodically. You got to be willing to do those things. And those things can be difficult to do. It can mean, hey, that position isn't available anymore. It could mean stopping a practice that you thought was going to work. And it was your baby, and and this is what happens, right? It's like, oh, this is my baby. This got to work.
I see it a lot, unfortunately, and in the crazy part, it's good people with great skills, great connections, but because they're holding it as their baby, they're failing in every aspect.
Yeah, and so and that I've had people come to me, no business plan. Oh, I went to India, got my app created. You hear these stories. I tell these stories.
Right.
To India, and nothing wrong with going to India. I've used people in India. I've worked with people in India. I've trained people in India. It's okay. They do a great job, but that's not what's going to help your app be successful. It's just having the app developed. That's about 1% of your success. The other 99% is something we're talking about today, which is in part your business plan. Get your business plan done have it done correctly, put yourself in a position to win, and you start building this thing out. And once you do that, right, don't be scared to change it. You
Right.
know, business plans are organic, breathing, growing, developing documents. They're not meant to be set in stone. They're meant to be changed. You know, climate, the climate changes, the market changes, people change, politics change. There's so many different things that can change that you don't have control of. So, open your mind to be malleable, right, with those changes, and to go with that flow, and not resist it. Like, really go with whatever that flow is. And so what we're learning in our business is we've had to make changes, we may have to make adjustments, but now, as we implement the new changes, our goal is to see better results.
And that's with everything in life. Don't you think after listening to Sylvester here, it actually makes sense of everything when it comes to business is creating that business plan and that we for anything in life you have to plan, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go in the direction that you wanted to go. However, you're adjusting as well along the way. So it's similar to a business plan here is you have an estimation of what it's going to look like. However, when you start executing, there's going to be factors that go into place that you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, there's stuff that we need to adjust here and there, and being able to move forward from there. And that's the key component, is being able to feel comfortable with the changes. And it's normal. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it that way. It's normal. It's okay. And sometimes entrepreneurs, we need to hear that it's okay. I can't tell you how many times Crystal said it's okay. It'll be all right. You know, because as business owners, sometimes we're just like, we're tunnel vision. We see what we see, and we're doing what we're doing. When we hit the wall and have to make a change, sometimes it ruffles our feathers because we really thought that was going to work, or whatever the case may be, and we just didn't get the result that we were looking for.
Yeah, and then well, you, Sylvester, you've been fortunate enough to, when you created your plans and so forth, to have outside help in that sense, and being able to get that second opinion, not opinion, but feedback. And
Mhm,
so sometimes as an owner, I'm glad you said tunnel vision because it happens to all of us, right?
mhm.
But being able to have somebody outside of your business looking in and figure out with you, wait a minute, this is what's going on, or maybe let's go ahead and adjust and look at that. It makes it, first, you're not spending time, right? And then second, money, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
third is basically you are being able to be going in the right direction, because how many business owners have quit because they just don't find a solution anymore, or they don't even know what's next anymore, and everything goes out. So the whole idea here is to be able to maintain your business, but also with help. To know that nobody should be doing this alone. Nobody should ever feel like they're alone, because as a business owner, I know there's a lot of components and we wear a lot of different hats. But at the same time, being able to be with the right people in what you need is key as a key factor to success as well.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why appideasuccess.com, you see it across the screen, is so beneficial to people. Even if you uh, have an idea and you're not sure, but you are motivated, it's something you really do want to get done. You're not sure how to do it. Don't worry about the how. We can help you with the how. We can walk you through. You just have to have a burning desire to get it done, and get it done in the next 48 hours, right? Let's go, is what we say. And we'll build it over that time together. And the other thing I want to say, Crystal, too, is that, let's say you already got your app, developed. I have many people that I know that got apps developed, didn't have, a marketing plan. They didn't have a business plan. They didn't have these things that we're talking about today. And their app's been in the App Store for 2 or 3 years. They're part of the Gartner report. 99.99% fail because they don't make any money. Um, what I wanted to say is I really want to see um, people put themselves in a position to win.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to put themselves in a position to win. And appideasuccess.com is a really good place to start. 10-minute free consultation. It'll just be 10 minutes, but it's mostly you talking, telling us what you do, and then we can help you determine whether that might be a good way to go, and it will take the rest of the steps that way.
Absolutely. And like we were saying, this is an opportunity to get back up and running, and to, if you have an amazing idea, let's make it happen. Let's go. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Sylvester, for all of your
Thank
wisdom
you.
and all of everything that you do for this company. For those of you that are watching us through Facebook, thank you for being here or are going to do a replay. Go ahead and follow us in our Facebook, JV Marketing Tech, so that you can get notifications down the road of when is our next podcast, which is in the next 2 weeks. And if you're watching us through LinkedIn, go ahead and follow us as well. We'll highly appreciate you, and you'll get more feedback and more information regarding JV Marketing Company and the updates and what we're doing and how we're working. And for all of you that are just watching and being supportive, I thank you all. For those of you that may know of somebody that can benefit from our services as well, go ahead and send them over to the appideasuccess.com link, and we highly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and help one another. And if those of people that need more than just a little bump in the road, then it's totally okay. You are not alone. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right, and share this video. Share this video. Anybody,
Absolutely.
even if you watch it on replay, share this video. We just some did we not just drop nuggets?
Yeah, we want to make sure that
Yes, we
people
just dropped
are
some
getting the
nuggets.
information. They're getting an
Wow.
information and are educating themselves as well.
Yeah, we just dropped some major multi-million dollar nuggets in 30 minutes. I mean, reshare this information. People reshare, comedy. I know I do too, but like comedy and all this other stuff on the internet, and that's fine. But what about sharing something that could possibly help somebody fund their business, get their business going, get their business moving? That would be good. So information you just heard are golden nuggets that you can share with friends, family, whoever, to help them move forward. So please share the video.
And like Sylvester said, the funding's out there, so why not do it? Thank you all, and have a wonderful day.
Take care.